how to manage sweat as an amputee. Most people are familiar with the benefits of sweating, why we sweat, but of course the main thing that sweating helps us do is cool down our core body temperature. And it is very common for people with amputations to experience more sweating, either on their residual limb or over their whole body overall. A couple reasons: you've lost a lot of your skin surface area, so you have less area to sweat, to dissipate some of that heat. So it's going to be normal for higher body temperature and just to experience more sweating. Also, if you're on pain medication, that is something that can increase how much you sweat. And of course, you have a gel liner on your skin that is not breathable. Some liners, like Ohio Willowwood, I believe, has their Smart Temp liner. I don't have a lot of familiarity with. So if you are someone that have used the Smart Temp liner and have some feedback, let everybody know down in the comments. So we know there are benefits to sweating, but it can be problematic for a couple reasons. Excessive sweating, it can lead to poor fit, skin irritation. It's just your prosthesis isn't going to be as comfortable. I've even had some patients get some skin irritation because of stuff in their medications that they're actually getting sweated out in their skin. And all that can lead to changes in limb volume and potential loss of suspension. So here are some things in the mix of conversation when I'm talking to people that I'm caring for that are struggling with sweat and their prosthesis. First of all, if they're a new amputee, there is an acclimation period to wearing the liner. Oftentimes, especially new amputees, I'm giving them a gradual wear schedule when I first give them their definitive prosthesis. And yes, on one hand, that's for them to get used to the prosthesis, make sure that it's not going to cause pressure areas with long-term use. But on the other hand, it's also just for their skin to get used to the liner, which can cause their sweat glands or pores to kind of go into a hyperactive mode. And so sometimes it just takes some time for that initial acclimation period. And so they might experience a lot of excessive sweat initially, but then that dissipates over time after that initial acclimation period. The other thing in that mix is to make sure that the liner is fitting well, that there's not air pockets, that it's not too loose, too tight, things of that nature. Additionally, with liners, making sure that the limb is staying clean and that the liner is staying clean. So I do have a video of just kind of a basic rundown of how to clean your liner, so I'll link that here to check out after this one. So we've gotten through that initial acclimation period, the liner is fitting well, and hygiene is on point, but sweat is still an issue. So what are some of those management tips and tricks to manage the sweat? First of all, some patients find that it's just easiest to just stop during the day, take everything off, pat dry everything, and put everything back on. And that's fine if it's, just kind of a short-term problem, like if it's just an excessive problem during the summer or the hot, humid months. But that's still kind of a hassle to have to stop, take everything off, dry it out, put everything back on, especially if you're out somewhere that you don't really have a good spot to do that, or if you're just, busy going all day and you don't want to take the time to do that. So what are some other options beyond that? There are sock-like products called liners that go on your skin first before the liner. And some people swear by them, and that is our holy grail product to manage sweat. But on the other hand, I've also had just as many people say that, yeah, it absorbs the sweat, but it's kind of uncomfortable and they still have to take it off at some point in the day when it gets full of sweat. And so it may give you a little bit more time before you have to take everything off. But like I said, the feedback's kind of been 50-50 on, loving it versus it's uncomfortable and it's not their favorite thing. You can also check out the liner wand. I do have a video as well on the liner wand and just the benefits of being able to get rid of, you know, persistent odors with the liner wand. But there's also been some good feedback on sweat management with the liner wand. So check them out. And even if you don't go with the liner wand, I still recommend you checking out their website. They have a lot of awesome resources for amputees. Alps, the company that makes the liners that we use most of the time, also has a antiperspirant product if you want to give that a try. You can also try Certain Dry. It is a off-the-shelf prescription strength deodorant. Do not put it on in the morning. I recommend putting it on, rolling it on your limb at the end of the day before bed so it has time to kind of soak into your skin, and you don't want to put it on your skin right before you roll the liner on. I recommend starting with, you know, every other night and then increasing to every night. Now, jumping into a little bit more involved of a solution that I can 90% guarantee you haven't heard of before is pickling your limb. We've tried everything else and sweat is still a major issue, major problem. What I'll instruct my patients on is pickling their limb. And so I'll give them some samples of the Certain Dry if they don't have it. Before they go to bed, take one of these samples. They just have a little sample pack. Open this up, rub it into their limb, and then you're going to wrap it with saran wrap. Wrap the limb with saran wrap. You can put a sock over everything just to kind of help hold it in place. It's probably going to move or fall off in the middle of the night. That's fine. And then in the morning, have them take everything off and just kind of clean their limb and then go about their day as normal. And I have them do that for 3 nights in a row. And basically that just kind of shocks the system and kind of breaks that cycle of excessive sweating. And I've had some patients only need to do this once and they're good. Some it's every 6 months, maybe a little bit often, maybe not as often, or, you know, just before the really hot humid season hits. It just kind of depends and varies, but that's one thing you can try if you've tried everything else and still have an excessive problem with sweating. Try pickling your limb. Another out-of-the-box creative solution I've heard done is they actually created little voids in the definitive prosthesis that they can put those flexible ice packs in to help keep their limb cool. So that was a interesting, creative, out-of-the-box idea as well. I hope this was helpful. Let me know, where are you from? Like I said, I'm in North Carolina, so it's not humid like, you know, Georgia, Florida, or those states, but tell me where you're from. What is your experience with heat, sweat, potential issues with your prosthesis because of that, solutions that you have found? So let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to know, and that way other people can read those and learn as well.